Cold plasma helps the body and now reach internal tissue and can avoid some surgery. Cold plasma can now reach internal organs, bronchial tube, inner throat, prostate, bladder, intestines, and any organ that can be reached through soft tissue. Now anyone can enjoy the blessings and benefits of cold plasma by simply touching the skin, whatever you want the benefit. A small device that looks and feels like a simple flashlight when applied touching the skin. German research doctors reported amazing results after applying cold plasma on patients' infected skin. In all cases, cold plasma was used on the surface of the skin with brilliant results. Sophisticated, expensive cold plasma generating machines had been developed by the Germans, but disappointingly, the application seemed to be limited to the surface of the skin only. I became interested in the subject right from the beginning and always looking at ways to achieve cold plasma penetrating into the human tissue. As an ex-IBM electronic engineer with many decades of experience in the field of electronics, I arrived at a small, handheld, simple device that produces low-energy soft cold plasma that is coherent, harmonic, and can penetrate soft human tissue. Information about the device at https://coldplasmalaser.com. About the tissue-penetrating cold plasma device, LL Plasma Laser. This small cold plasma device is designed as a handheld device of low power output but of great penetration of soft tissue. We found low power to be most effective at the same time of being safe for anyone to operate without causing any adverse effect. The LL plasma laser uses a low power energy generated by a basic laser diode, which produces coherent harmonic output, and there are 2 units in the kit, as after a couple of minutes of using one unit, it will begin to warm up, which is an indication to stop and switch to the second unit to avoid overheating. My developed cold plasma small device achieved the same great results as with the German machine, plus plenty of cases of plasma applied on the skin but aiming to internal organs, where my friends have corroborated its great qualities of brilliant handling, inflammation, pains, infections of all kinds, including an inguinal infected hernia of big proportions resolved in 2 days at around 2016. This surgery gone wrong gave me a huge and painful infection, even as I was leaving the hospital going back to my hotel. As the infection felt worse as I went, the surgeon had prescribed that it will last at least 2 months, and it may be even extended to 12 months. And he sent me back with 2 heavy-duty antibiotics, 2 heavy-duty anti-inflammatories, plus a whole range of painkillers, and on top of that, some ointment to treat the infected stitches. I was very uncomfortable and worried. As I was back in the hotel, I happened to have a couple of cold plasma laser devices already done and ready to go, so I decided to try them on top of the stitches. I didn't worry too much about infection, as I knew that cold plasma will disinfect the whole lot and will get rid of bacteria, viruses, whatever is there. So I proceeded going over the stitches with my cold plasma device, going up and down the stitches slowly, as my device takes time for the cold plasma to take effect. Then after 10 minutes, I started to feel some relief. The pain seemed to be going away and felt a little bit better. I think I did a total of some 20 minutes. So finally I managed to relax. 2 hours later, the inflammation gone down to half, 50%. All this huge inflammation greatly reduced, which is amazing. I was very happy with that result. I thought cold plasma is great. And the area of the stitches were looking dry and nice and very healthy. All this redness and all this swelling on bits and pieces, they're all going flat. Then the next morning I woke up, no inflammation. The whole thing is gone. And the tissue was looking really great. And the tenderness that I felt all around the huge inflammation is now gone. Now the whole area is feeling firm and strong, as if body had built some scar tissue underneath, protecting the surgery. I thought, this is great. I thought I was cured. So I threw away all this pharmaceutical stuff, all these antibiotics, anti-inflammatories, painkillers, ointments, and the whole lot. I didn't need them. I felt really great. Then in about 2 days I went swimming. I felt totally cured. Then I went to see the surgeon at the hospital. I thought he would be really appreciative, but he didn't seem to be impressed. He didn't say anything. I thought he would be enthusiastic on adapting this on any surgery, as the recovery is so wonderful and so quick, and the stitches were looking fantastic. Even today, I can't even find the scar where the surgery took place. I didn't think that the whole thing will disappear, but it did. This should be recommended for every surgeon. It just takes about 15 minutes after the surgery. It doesn't even have to be the doctor to do it. It's just a nurse can just go over the stitches with this cold plasma device, slowly of course, and I had to give it a few minutes, ideally 15 minutes, and it will be welded, it will be dry, and it will be wonderful. And the stitches can be removed much sooner, maybe in 1 day or 2 rather than 7. I had an acute bronchial condition ever since childhood, as my father was a chain smoker and I grew up breathing smoke since I was a toddler. My bronchial condition bothered me for life. In 2017 it became terrible and I was preparing to go to Australia to get medical treatment, as I was even losing my voice. Then I laid down on my back, pillows under my shoulders, to open up the spot. I first applied cold plasma to the base of my neck and towards the bronchial tube for about 10 minutes, and I could feel some relief. As I felt some loosening and clearing up of the congestion, I moved towards the next congested point, taking time for the cold plasma to do its work. And I could feel my breathing gradually getting better and better. Then, in about 20 minutes, I had the clearest throat I have ever had in 77 years. I ended up absolutely perplexed by the instant cure of my 77 years old chronic bronchial problems, then gone in just 20 minutes. And my chronic bronchial problem was gone for life. And my voice came back about a week later. If applied even for a simple tickle in my throat, it not only clears it up, but it seems to make antibodies that are created to become more resilient to any cold, flu, or anything that comes to affect the breathing apparatus. Then the permanent result is a perfectly clear throat. The tissue-penetrating cold plasma device, LL plasma laser, will zap virus, bacteria, and all kinds of threats to the body without considering their type or name. No need of selective antibiotics or drugs, as they all get zapped just the same, while the immune system gets invigorated. We all apply the cold plasma device in the throat at the very first sign of tickle, cough, or irritation, and the bug goes to sleep and never wakes up again. The base of the throat and the early bronchial tube are a spot where most of the invaders establish headquarters as they enter the body. The LL plasma laser spoils the plans right at the door. As I observe in my family, some of the health issues can be repeated. Where at advanced age, my father developed a tumor in the bladder, which had to be removed by surgery, and it was just an early cancer tumor that was removed on time. Now in 2020, ultrasound scans at 2 top hospitals in Chiang Mai had shown a jungle growth in my bladder, which usually hides a tumor inside. Apart from pain and irritation of my bladder, some bleeding and bits of flesh were coming down with the urine. Hoping to stop the pain and irritation, I applied 4 LL plasma lasers all together at once in order to cover the area. This is after I located the approximate location of the tumor on my belly, The very low power of cold plasma needs extra minutes to accumulate benefit. After a total of some 20 minutes, the pain and irritations were gone and no more sporadic bleeding or bits of flesh coming down with the urine. So I was happy. Unexpected but welcome results. A later ultrasound scan showed a clear bladder with no signs of tumor or anything else, while at the same time, the extra big surprise was that the prostate had shrunk, had gone down by 50% from a 162 cc BPH large prostate down to 83 cc. After the surprising big prostate reduction, no cold plasma was applied in the area in order to observe the recovery of the prostate tissue. Further tests later on proved that reducing the prostate tissue may be good, but it recovers very fast. The tissue seems to go back to the bigger size and then settle down to a certain size, which is a little less to where it started. The inflammation seemed to come back again. Finding the right spot was not a problem, and a good application of some 4 LL plasma laser devices provided the expected reaction, where a strong libido may be noticed. But the reduction doesn't seem to remain. The tissue seemed to go back to the bigger size and then settle down to a certain size, which is a little less to where it started. So cold plasma may be used as a temporary relief, but to get a permanent reduction, the obvious solution for that is to go for a prostate artery embolization, which will reduce the food supply to the cells, to the prostate tissue, to keep on growing and getting bigger. So it's reducing the blood supply. They won't have enough to keep on growing. So for the time being, the cold plasma application is a good temporary relief while one is waiting for prostate artery embolization. Now here is the next clear proof that the cold plasma produced by the LL plasma laser penetrates human tissue. In June 2019, I had the most horrific traffic accident I had in my life when I was hit from behind by a big high-speed car. The impact smashed my left leg into compound small fractures with bones sticking out of my skin. Apart from many other internal injuries and other bone fractures, my left leg was the most complicated compound fracture. I had to move to India where I could afford my recovery costs. Soon after, I had an infected leg and I was afraid that the Indian hospital would cut off my leg. Then I used extra LL plasma lasers so that the cold plasma would reach inside the center of the leg where all the bits of broken bones were. I was very happy to see that soon after, the internal temperature went down to normal. The recovery of the leg took over a year, and in between, I had different issues like inflammation, damaging joints, and rejection of the so much metal inside the leg. I treated them all with the LL plasma laser with great success. In the end, all of the above were restored or pacified by the application of my cold plasma laser device. And I thought that this was an experience where nature was showing me all the wonderful applications of this cold plasma device that will be intended to help families all over the world. The ladies in Germany, if they're going through cesarean section to have a baby, they don't use stitches to close the whole cut across the belly. No stitches. No railway track with staples. No. They just close the two sections of the cut. They use a sticky tape, a special sticky tape to hold it together, and then they run over the cut with the plasma device, which weld the two joints together. So it's a welding technique to close the surgery. Very popular in Germany. And here an anecdotal case. I have a health professional lady friend who was in the last stages of breast cancer. She decided to play with one of these LL plasma lasers. I thought the cancer was too advanced. She has such a huge tumor in the breast. I didn't think that the small device would really help. About 1 week after playing with it, she told me, no, but the small tumors are disappearing. Well, okay. That was my surprise. It's such a big tumor and such a small device. And she wasn't using a number of devices, just one device. She went away with the family because she was going to spend the last part of her life with a couple of daughters and with the family. And I didn't hear because she just went overseas. Later on, I found that she had a spontaneous remission as she was back to work and everything was like life is normal. I didn't get details about it, but somehow it seemed like she started getting results from day one when she started to play with just one simple deep penetration LL plasma laser. She was getting instantaneous results with the small tumor disappearing. So I was intrigued about that. So even today, I'm still intrigued about the case. But anyhow, it would be good if people involved with oncology would try this device in tumors like that. As I said, I had myself a blood tumor disappearing. Maybe a good idea for oncology to try these devices. And in case of a huge tumor like that, I would say instead of one device, use 3 or 4, just to cover the whole area. Now, what about what others think about the LL plasma laser? Here is what Mrs. Parishak from Thailand, also known as Peggy, had to say some years ago.
I and my family have been using these LL plasma lasers for a year or 2 now. I found them very useful and ease my worries of rushing to see doctors on minor sickness, such as back pain, sore throat, inflammation, sore in the tongue. I simply apply the plasma laser next to the spot on the skin or on my face, and the sore subsided unknowingly. My son had a lump on his leg and using the plasma laser reduced the size to half in 1 day, and he is very happy with the application. Seeing the good effects of the plasma lasers on pain or inflammation, I acquired 3 more sets for my 3 siblings. I am still using them regularly almost every day to treat my wounds from major surgery of heart disease, including pain here and there. In conclusion, we are very happy with the LL plasma lasers we have. It is just like having a doctor in the house. Richard, Peggy, Thailand.
The LL plasma laser produces deep penetrating cold plasma, which can stop bleeding in the fastest and most efficient way. Every first aid kit should have a LL plasma laser life-saving set. Tissue penetrating cold plasma saves lives. There are good life-saving reasons to keep an LL plasma laser device on every first aid kit. High-speed coagulation and good penetration cold plasma are the best aid to stop bleeding of any kind, where even a non-trained person can do it. It will stop any bleeding if applied as instructed, and it may include tissue welding of a cut on the skin. An old friend named Harry accidentally got a bleeding foot as he walked barefooted on his garden. Here is what Harry did. He used clean water to wash the wound, starting with a little diluted hydrogen peroxide first. Then did a proper rinse with clean water. Then use a clean tissue to hold tight the wound, which helped the body's effort to stop bleeding. Holding for a couple of minutes would be enough in a small cut. In many cases, the bleeding resumes after a couple of seconds. In that case, go back to hard pressing to stop the blood flow. Then get ready some clear plastic packing tape to be quickly applied as let go at the pressed wound. Then, holding tight the clear tape, the wound can be seen through the tape. Then apply the LL plasma laser for at least 2 minutes by touching the clear tape on top of the wound. Keep on applying it directly over the wound while slowly moving around the wounded area. As well as stopping the bleeding, the penetrating cold plasma will start the tissue welding if given a few minutes. Harry was fascinated when in the morning the healing was very well advanced and he could even walk on his injured foot. The LL plasma laser is highly recommended for all first aid kits. They should be in all industrial and domestic first aid kits, including at least 1 set of LL plasma laser. We also recommend keeping a roll of clear packing tape, a small bottle of hydrogen peroxide of 3%, clean tissues, and clean water. We really believe that having all of this in every first aid kit is a must.